The Berbice Bridge Company Incorporated announced a proposed 420% increase in tolls across the Berbice River Bridge. This recent announcement comes on the heels of a similar effort to increase tolls in May 2018, when the APNU-AFC government said it will not consent to any increase in its rates since it will have an adverse effect on ordinary Guyanese having to utilize the bridge. On this InfoHub Extended, we take a look at the timeline of events of the construction of the bridge to present. The Berbice River Bridge was constructed through a public-private partnership between the former administration and sections of the private sector. A bill was passed in the National Assembly and assented to by then-President Bharat Jagdeo in 2006 to facilitate this arrangement. The National Insurance Scheme and the New Building Society were just two of the investors who were made to invest heavily into the construction and operation of the bridge, which to date has yielded no returns for the NIS. According to Minister Patterson, the agreement was not founded on any credible basis.
The NIS is the biggest stakeholders. NBS has, and of course, the other banks, they would have put in a minor share in it. So obviously, the money came from these entities, the banks or the bank financial institutions. By investing, it's purported they were given a guaranteed rate of return. And the guaranteed rate of return, I mean, it was calculated on a really, I would say, a sort of pixie dust basis. The premise was that if you build a bridge, more people will start traveling, the volume of cars would increase, so therefore with the increase of cars, the toll will go down in the future. So they had this really lovely proposal. It obviously was not grounded in any sort of reality whatsoever. So what happened, and what is happening now, is that the actual cars, the amount of cars that are using the bridge has reduced. Because even the toll that is subsidized now, persons find it burdensome. And so obviously they only cross the bridge when they need to. They don't cross for leisure, they don't cross because obviously a car pays $1,900. So the toll has, the traffic has reduced, and what it means is that for them to get the guaranteed rate of return, they have to raise the tolls exponentially.
From its construction to 2015, the year when the PPPC lost the regional and national elections to the APNU-AFC, the BCCI did not seek any increase in its tolls. The first request for an increase was made in March of 2015. This was rejected by the government, who in turn instituted river taxis for school children, nurses, and teachers for 2 periods daily, morning and afternoon, to ease the burden on the traveling public.
Subsequent to the elections of May 2015, and one of the promises and commitments of the coalition government at that time was to address immediately the reduction of toll for the persons in Berbice. I as Minister responsible for public infrastructure would have written to the Berbice Bridge Work Company, Inc. on several occasions to engage them that's in 2015, about a reduction in the tolls. As you know, it was a long protracted negotiation. In the interim, while they sought time to consult with all the various stakeholders, we were able to, I instituted the Berbice River Taxi crossing, which allowed school children and pensioners, teachers, nurses, and such to cross free, of course, at a limited time. It's only for a limited period, I think between 7 and 9 a.m. in the morning, which is school times, and then in the afternoon during the school period. So therefore, and that was our attempt to ensure that we could deliver our promise, because at all times we recognized that the Berbice Bridge Company, Inc. was a private entity.
In 2016, the government came to an agreement with the BCCI to reduce its toll fees. Tolls were reduced by 10% and a $155 million per annum subsidy paid to BCCI from January 2016. Minister Patterson noted that despite the 2016 agreement, the BCCI wrote to the government requesting increased tolls in March 2016, 2017, and July of 2018.
I have informed them on all occasions that the government is unminded and is not minded to and will not be increasing consideration of the toll. It is of interest to note that the concession agreement for this bridge expires in 9 years. It's 11 or 12 is 2021 of the concessionary period has already elapsed. The first application in the for increasing tolls was March 2015. It's very instructive to note that from when they started, which I think is 2008, yes, 2008 to March of 2015, there was no application whatsoever for an increase of toll. This was instructive because we considered that having had been no previous application for 9 years, we considered that they were obviously well pleased and with their toll agreement.
After BCCI's failure to get government's approval for increased tolls, it was later revealed that the 39 pontoons, an integral part of the bridge's infrastructure, had not been serviced for 2.5 maintenance cycles since its construction. In the interest of public safety, Minister Patterson sought Cabinet's approval to undertake the maintenance of those pontoons. This was granted and some $90 million allocated to the Demerara Harbour Bridge Company to undertake the maintenance program. An additional offer was made by the government to undertake maintenance of the bridge for the remaining 9 years of its contractual life, at an estimated cost of $1 billion starting in 2019. The government's offer was rejected out of hand by the BCCI, which said it only addressed operational cost indebtedness. The company stated that its financiers wanted their investment returns, which the previous government guaranteed at a rate between 9 and 12%.
The bridge countered to say that the proposal which I'm making only addresses their operational costs, and that they have obviously their financiers, which is the basically their financiers wanted back their money. The financiers wanted their profits, which was signed by the previous, they guaranteed signed by the previous government. So therefore, there are two different issues here. There's a question of them getting back, making a profit. There's a question of profit, and there's a question of operations. In this room, I explained to them I was only empowered to discuss the operations, because that is my mandate, that they should submit to me, which I'll pass on to the Minister of Finance, a breakdown, because they said they are owed, the company has debts to the tune of $6 billion. And so I said, well, that was not my mandate. I inquired, of course, the very thing, if the Burbage Bridge would have met with the financiers and asked them if it's prudent at this stage in time, why not, if they were willing to take a lower rate of return. I mean, 12%, you know, anybody who quite knows how you only get one, or if that much, if you put the money in fixed deposit right now. So 12%, 9 and 12% was quite generous. And they replied that none of their financiers were willing to negotiate or reduce the interest that they said that they signed. I asked if they were willing to sell shares to the government, if the government, and they made it quite clear there's a differential between shares and debt and profit. So therefore, even though if I buy over the shares, they still have debt and profit to the person, so therefore that would not do. And they ended up by saying that they see the only viable reason is that the government buying them out.
Unaware that the meetings with BCCI were merely being used as consultations in keeping with the Act of 2006, Minister Patterson received a letter from the BCCI chairman thanking him for meeting. The letter also reiterated the company's position that there is a toll order and stated that based on legal opinion, they will be increasing tolls. According to Minister Patterson, the government sees this recent attempt to introduce the tolls for crossing the Berbice River Bridge as unconsensual and will do everything possible to prevent the BCCI holding commuters at ransom.
I will not be approving any toll increases for the Berbice River Bridge crossing, and that is our position on that. We will be seeking legal advice from the Attorney General's chamber on the legal implications of what is the power and the authorities under this act. Thirdly, I would like to give all assurances to all commuters in Berbice and Region 5 and Region 6 that the government will do all that is necessary to ensure that commuters can continue to use the bridge safely and without any particular undue harassment or tolls.
The Attorney General's chambers has been asked by the government to examine its options. Minister Patterson said among the options that the government will be seeking to explore is the amendment of the Berbice Bridge Act, increasing subsidies, or an injunction.
We have several options. We would have options. I mean, if he recommends an amendment, we could do that. If finance recommends a financial route, we can go there. Or if the Minister of Public Security says that it's a vital and important service and says declare an order to keep it open, I mean, we'll do that. I mean, so the entire gamut of possibilities are open. I don't know which one we will do this time, but I do know the outcome will be that there will be no fare increases.
Government also noted the date from which the proposed increases take effect, November 12th, which is also slated for local government elections.
It's no coincidence that is the date of the local government elections. We do note by that mere move alone that there is political implications and political reasoning and political machinations behind this here. And we call on the people of Berbice, and I personally call on the people of Berbice to inquire of their elected representatives from the region chairman of Berbice and the member parliaments of Berbice and the leader of the opposition, how they envisage and how they, what he envisaged this project to work like when he conceived of it in 2006. How he conceived, because it is ingrained in a toll agreement, that the people of Berbice would have been able to afford this sort of price. And what is his, and how does he propose to come to discuss with the government a solution? Because obviously the fault and the genesis of this is purely squarely in the hands of the agreement in which they would have, the government, the opposition would have appeared. So obviously, we are willing to listen to see what suggestions he would have, since this is a storm by his and their making.
Motorists and passengers have since condemned the proposed Berbice Bridge toll increase.
This would affect our entire family, because we have 46 buses working here, and we can't get to work all the buses one day, because we only work a part of the buses. 21 buses is home every day. Right? Now I can't see the bridge is concerned, or even the opposition is concerned about the people. Is the bridge and the opposition thinking anything about the people? Or they're just looking after themselves? Right? Well, for me, right, I feel that the government should take over the bridge, right? And so that everybody could live, because we gotta live. How would we live? I'm an old man, but I got younger people dependent, and they take loan to pay the bank. Where would they make this money from? What will the people, the consumer that is crossing the bridge, what will they pay to cross the bridge on a daily basis? Those who are working in Amsterdam, right, and those who are going to do business, what will they pay?
President of the Minibus Association Berbice, Dennis Chesney, condemned the proposed toll hikes. He is among the many motorists and passengers that have since rebuffed the proposed toll increase. Equally frustrated with the proposed fare hike in fares is Thakur Singh, a minibus operator for more than 8 years, who said the toll increase would put minibus operators out of jobs.
If the bridge gonna raise the fare on us, with me you can't work anymore. And we get a vehicle, we We work and pay for the vehicle. We take a loan. And then if we can't work, then the bank gonna take we vehicle. We're gonna be the big loser. We get kids going to school. We get family. We get bills to pay. And we can't make it. It's gonna be real tough.
Ram Kisoon, Kemraj Prasad and Aaron Jackson said they simply cannot afford the increase.
For my person, for me, gotta go for the bridge. I can't find $8,000 because if me look at go for me was to pay $8,000, I can't pay that. I can't afford it.
I work in here since this bridge is open. About 8 years and something I work in. And this is the only work I do, minibus work. And if this fare going to raise, it's going to really affect us. Because I get kids to send to school. And the amount of bus who work here, we ain't getting every day work, only 4 days work a week. So it's going to affect us a lot.
For me, it means that passengers are now paying $260 to cross the bridge. The bus is carrying 14 persons. You do the mathematics. 14 by 260 doesn't even cover $8,000. So right away, you're looking at how much will you ask a person to pay to get across. If you have to pay $8,000, you have to cover the toll, buy gasoline, and make something for yourself. It's not workable. You know, there'll have to be an alternative. It will affect everything in Berbice, East Berbice, West Coast Berbice. It will affect everything. Who do we depend on to travel? Most of our passengers are people from the working class, public servants, nurses, teachers, policemen. Their salary can't cover a traveling fee of $1,000 or more per day. You know, so it just can't work.
Equally concerned were the passengers of the number 56 zone. Kathy O'Donoghue was on a minibus preparing to cross the bridge when she learned of the proposed increase. O'Donoghue said it is unfair, especially for mothers who have children attending school.
They have to study all those who have kids and not one going across the school. It's more than one. And then if they jump from 19 to 8, that's a big jump. And the fee right now, I think it's $300. It's going to raise to $1,000. Nobody will want to go leave across it to go across there anymore. They will just spend their money and over. They will just keep losing. They will lose customers. They don't make any sense. So I think they should leave it as it is or drop itself.
The proposed toll increases from $2,200 to $8,040 for cars and buses, small trucks $4,000 to $14,600, and boats from $110,000 to $401,040. According to Minister Patterson, this ranks amongst the highest bridge tolls worldwide. According to Minister Patterson, these proposed toll increases will make the Berbice Bridge one of the most expensive river bridge crossings in the world. He assured that the administration will expend all necessary means to ensure the traveling public does not have to be burdened with unconscionable fare hikes. This has been another program of InfoHub Extended. Do join us again next time.